So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Q&A session of the week. And the keyword for this week is Odyssey. Odyssee. You can download that app and subscribe to my channel there. Because I will really be doing the Q&A from Odyssey probably starting next week. So just wanted to announce that. And also, my Mahadasha course started and I'm uploading videos. I'm going to upload the video of Kriya of Sun and Moon that you must look in terms of reading a Dasha. So that little thing is coming. So yeah, if you guys want to see the next Saturn movie, the next, man, I really have some. I have a prequel to Saturn actually. Before I make Saturn, I think I'll have to make a movie on Bharani. That's the way the story has developed in my head. Now, of course, if I don't get enough money in, let's say, a year or two, then okay, fine, let's finish Saturn and done. But if I do get enough, then I want to make Bharani movie before I make the Saturn movie because it will make sense. I'm telling you, just stories just come like that to me because I love it. Now, so the first question comes from nobody. Oh, wait, nobody Borat 22. It is said that a person's job is determined by placement of Saturn. So what kind of results are expected when Saturn is in the 6th house in Rohini nakshatra, because both of them represent different things? Not really. Both of them don't really represent different things because remember, Saturn represents karma. Okay, the results of your past karma and the action that you take in this life, which is the karma that you're performing now. And each nakshatra is a karma. It's a karma that you deal with. Okay, so when Saturn is in the 6th house in Rohini nakshatra, you will see most of the time a person wants to be in a place where they provide comfort to people. Somehow, things related to either comfort, beauty, arts, creativity, and money. That's where this Saturn does extremely well, including growing things, which is farming, agriculture. So this is where the Saturn, like these are the daily routines you want to do with Saturn in the 6th house in the sign of Taurus. But does this mean that you're going to do these things? Like providing comfort to people, which, strangely enough, I come across with Saturn and Rohini specifically. People who are in business of mattresses, whether it's Sleep Number, whether it's Pedia something. God, what is this? It's a famous brand. Tempur-Pedic. What does it do? It gives you comfort when you sleep on it. And it's a product which is, manufactured, which Saturn represents. It's a heavy, big product like Saturn represents. So again, those are the type of things that we see. But is this your career? Well, for that, we have to look at your Artha and your Dharma. And I actually made a video regarding this on my Mahadasha lesson about how to look at Dharma and Artha, as in what the path of the soul is and how the money is coming in. Then, the next question is from Shifai IX. Which moon do you prefer? Kritika, Rohini, or Mriksara? Well, it depends upon what is it that I'm looking for at that time period. If let's say I'm looking to go on a random date, a romantic night, okay, a quiet, peaceful night, I will choose Mriksara nakshatra. If I really want to, deal with beauty, deal with seduction, and creatively being obsessed about something, I will go with Rohini. If I need to discern things, if I have to make a decision, like I have these different choices, but I'm going to have to cut certain things out in order for me to, really make the product better, make my business better, then I'm going to choose Kritika. So it's not like one is always going to be favored over the other. No, that's just like, new age fad astrology. That's not practical astrology. Because depending upon certain circumstances, I might choose Mula or Ardra Nakshatra in order for me to achieve something. If I'm doing, let's say, yoga, or if I'm doing Kriya, I'm going to choose Ardra or Mula because they'll take me to the deepest deepest level of, meditation. Then we have Trikankar Sen. If Taurus is the Mool Trikon Rashi of Moon, then for Sagittarius, Libra, and Gemini Ascendant Moon should be functional malefic, ? No. Again, this is why you need to know certain foundations of astrology. And one of the basic things that is said, regardless of what signs Sun and Moon are ruling, only Sun and Moon though. It's not said about any other planet except Sun and Moon. No matter which house they rule, 1st house, 5th house, 6th house, 8th house, 12th house, they should always be considered neutral as a first level of making decisions about any of these two planets. Look at them as neutral. Go into the chart as a blank slate. Now, in order to determine will this Sun and Moon give certain benevolent results, malevolent results, now look at their house placement, sign, nakshatra placement, and most importantly, the aspect and the yoga these two planets are creating. And depending upon that, either they could be causing havoc, absolute, manifestation of destruction, or they could be just very neutral, average. You're living your life. 6 years go by, fine. Or they could be taking you really high. So there's no like one scenario. Well, now that you asked me this question, yes, Moon would be the most malefic and this. Then we are losing complete direction of what Jyotish is. Forget astrology, what Jyotish is. Okay. Now, the next one is from Shweta Kapoor. I think I've taken your question before, and this name sounds very familiar from Q&A. Planetary combination for someone to have a stepmother. That would be either Rahu, Moon in the 4th house, Rahu in the 4th house, Saturn being in the 4th house retrograde, 4th Lord being retrograde with Rahu, or with Moon. In that case, you can get a stepmother. And stepmother doesn't have to be a specific stepmother, like your mother passes away, your father divorces, and then marries somebody. Now that's your stepmother. Stepmother could also be someone that you feel like that they're your mentors. It could be some lady, let's say you met, at a coffee shop, and you realize that they are masters of, third eye awakening, Kundalini awakening, and you start taking lessons from them. And literally, you look at them as your second mother. Well, that becomes your stepmother. And because that becomes like your stepmother-like individual, well, in your chart, you may have those combinations. And also, especially, don't just look at the birth chart. Also, if that combination is present in the Dwadasamsha, the D12 chart, that will also signify, a stepmother. Then, Heather Stealth. What is good date sign to start a business? What placement in the house? So, and this is something that I've actually discussed in my nakshatra book, which is coming out, is that when you're not aware, because here I don't know your birth details, okay? And I believe you're wanting to find that universal placement. The universal placement will always be the time when moon transits the nakshatra of Uttara Falguni. That would be the best time to sign or start a business, sign a contract or start a business. Uttara Falguni followed by Pushya. Otherwise, Uttara Bhadrapada and Uttarashada. These are the 4 things you can always start a business in. Why? Because if you just look at these 2 nakshatras, Uttara Falguni and Pushya, these are my main focus, that these are the where you can just blindly start something if you don't know anything about your own chart or astrology. Because directly opposite to Pushya is Uttarashada. And directly opposite to Uttara Falguni would be Uttara Bhadrapada. But I'm only saying Uttara Bhadrapada because in the Leo side and a little bit to the 3 degrees and 20 arc minutes of Virgo side would be Purva Bhadrapada. So because opposite nakshatras are the mirror image of each other, it's better to do it in Uttara Falguni side where before 10th degree in Pisces, where Uttara Falguni nakshatra would be present. So this way you can see that, okay, I have to start a business, and for me, I have to start this in the next week. And none of these nakshatras are coming, Uttara Falguni or Pushya. Well, just do the opposite. Because if one of them are not running, if they're far out, that means the other 2 are very close to where you're trying to start a business. And how do I know this? Because I've done this myself, where I had to sign certain things for a corporation. And for me, I'm like, I have to send this form to the state government by this time, otherwise it's going to be considered late. And yet I wanted to do it on these 2 things. But so what I did, okay, well, let's just do the opposite nakshatra, which was coming in 2 days. So in opposite, I signed and I sent in my form. So again, I'm the example of this. Next one is from Shironika. Can you talk about the term Pushkar Navamsha and its importance? So Pushkar Navamsha is this a single degree in certain zodiac signs where they become extremely potent, portion of that particular nakshatra. And on top of my head, I cannot give you random Pushkar Navamsha. I don't have those memorized. I have a cheat sheet in my computer that I use, but there are certain degrees, where you will find that this particular degree, when a planet is sitting in that particular degree, transits over that particular degree, that is the most potent soma element of that nakshatra, meaning you will get the maximum benefit of that nakshatra from that point. It's not even the Yogatara. Yogatara, yes, that is the actual nakshatra, but the Pushkar Navamsha degree is like it's excreting all the positive juices and sitting there. That's the Pushkar Navamsha. And yes, you will find that in my book, Pushkar Navamsha degrees. Then the next one is Melimi. How to interpret a chart showing how I'm perceived by others. Very simple. That would be your Arudha Lagna. Arudha ascendant. Lagna simply means ascendant. Arudha is you take your ascendant, you see what your ascendant is, see where the Lord is placed. So if your ascendant is, let's say, Gemini, and Mercury is in the 4th house, Then count 4 places from Mercury, which would be the 7th house of Sagittarius. That means your Arudha Lagna becomes Sagittarius. So make Sagittarius the ascendant and just start looking at the planets. And especially look at the planets in the 7th or any influence on the 7th house. And if there's no influence on the 7th house by aspects of Gemini, then look at where the 7th Lord has gone. That will show you how people are looking at you. Okay. So obviously, the most basic thing is the more malefic influences that are there on these houses, the more people will look at you as their enemy. The more benefic influence you have there, the more, no matter what you do, the people will just always have this, place in their heart for you. They'll always look at you as this good person. It's that simple. Next one. Alex, Sagittarius descendant, exactly conjunct with North Node. So that means you're a Gemini ascendant, and in your 7th house is Rahu in Sagittarius. For this, obviously, one of the most important, before I can say any negative or positive things about this, is where's Jupiter? What is the condition of Jupiter? Because depending upon how Jupiter's condition is, that's how your relationship with your spouse is going to be. And that's how you're going to be perceived by other people as well. Which is a nice segue into the next question. I just randomly picked it and put it there. But just from the ascendant, your 7th house will represent your opponents. 7th house is what your image is into the world. What our people are perceiving you as. But obviously, Arudha Lagna will give a much, much clearer and better picture. So with Rahu in the 7th house doesn't mean that you're going to have a bad spouse, they will cheat on you, and any of those things. No, but that all depends upon where Jupiter is placed, what nakshatra Rahu is in, and where that nakshatra Lord is placed. But one thing we see here, when Rahu is in the 7th house here, and doesn't matter which sign Rahu is in, when Rahu is in the 7th house, on a basic notion, whenever somebody comes across you, they will think of you as somebody who is very clever. Very slick and clever. Now, some people are like, wow, this person is clever and slick. I like that. Well, that depends upon where Jupiter is or where that dispositor is. Some people will be like, you know what, I need to stay away from this person. They think I'm 5-year-old and they're trying to, swindle me into something. Forget it. So all of this is dependent upon that. Rahu, just by Rahu, one placement, yes, there are certain things you will see that happen no matter what. But, I can't say those things here, but this is how you would look at it. Then, the next question is from Natalia Chavina. What kind of effect do debilitated planets do in good houses in D9? For example, I have a Venus in the 1st house and Sun in the 2nd in D9. But both debilitated, what is more important here, the house or the sign? Okay, I'm just kind of confused. You're saying Sun is in the 2nd in D9, but both debilitated. I have Venus in the 1st house and Sun. Okay, I see what you're saying. You're a Virgo ascendant, Venus is in the ascendant, Sun is in the 2nd house in Libra. Well, first of all, what if, and because we don't know the other placement, perhaps are you getting a niche bhang? Cancellation of debilitation, which means Mars and Mercury should be in quadrant houses. 1, 4, 7th and 10th house. If that is happening, then you will get, reverse results, good results through struggle. You'll make money, but you will have to fight your family for money. You'll have to somehow separate yourself from your family in order for you to rise up in life. And Venus in the ascendant in Virgo, this is actually it's known as Lagna Masya position. And Venus in Virgo in the ascendant is not so bad, even if it doesn't get a Neech Bhang. Because Venus is the Atma Karka of Navamsha. Venus becomes the most important for the Navamsha and its condition because it's about unionship. It's about marriage. And because it's in the ascendant, it's naturally gaining strength. Because Venus is like, I don't care what jacket I'm wearing, here I am. I am sitting on the throne. I am sitting in the first house. So naturally it gains strength. It doesn't necessarily mean bad things, but one thing we do see, there could be some complication in intimacy issues. And depending upon how certain other planets are, one may not have such a strong sexual drive. One may just have this drive to be attractive to other people. Like you could be like, I want other people to like me and want me, but that's it. That's how far I go. I'm not going to go anything beyond that. I may not reciprocate, but I just want other people to be attracted. So those are the things that kind of become complicated with these, kind of like half analysis questions. Then Pooja Shivedi, please tell us how we can make remedy for self. What things can consider, what we need to take care of in this. Wait, why did I choose this question? Because this is really confusing. Please tell us how we make remedy for self. Well, remedy for self will depend upon your constitution, and your constitution is based on your chart. So I can't just say something how you make remedies, because there are 50 different ways. There's no like one size fits all. Whenever you see a remedy, one size fits all, the only thing that will work in that case may be the Vastu remedy. But even then, like for example, I recommend sometimes to people to get a fish aquarium in their home, right? But then I will tell some people, make sure you have yellow color fishes in the fish aquarium. For certain people, I'm like, you can have any fish, just make sure you have black fish. Like 3 or 4 black fishes in there. Sometimes I'll give a different color. So like for example, sometimes I'll say, okay, put a eagle in this particular side of your home. But then I'll say, don't get a brass eagle. You need to get a Panchadhatu eagle. Eagle made of 5 elements. So even though eagle is the same symbol, in one's chart, they should have brass. On the other, they should have Panchadhatu. Those are the little differences then that becomes. But then there are certain remedies that only one should do based on their chart. Okay? And those are mostly like mix of Nadi and Lal Kitab remedies. So then the next question is from Ayan Roy. What happens when Pranapatha is in the 11th house in Ashwini Nakshatra, Aries? Very simple. So what is Pranapadha? Pranapatha is the breath of life. What makes you feel alive? What makes you feel like, yes, now something is turning in my life. This is kind of who I am. So what gives you prana is when you're making quick money. fast-paced money. When you are able to accumulate something big in a very short amount, like a day trader would, like a crypto trader would, like how some of these crypto people, literally some make like 15,000 in one day by trading. That's quick and it's big. But then the other thing, what takes your prana away is the opposite. Is if you were to put in a position where you are set on one type of a salary and you're doing just mundane work. So whether you work hard, whether you work slow, money is going to be the same. The gain is going to be the same. And that will kill your prana. That will feel like you're just dying inside. The other thing we also see is unless your friends can help you very quickly and your network circles can always be there for you very quickly, those are the type of friendships you like to be with, where quick calls can be made, where fast actions can be taken. But when you have network circles who may call you in 3 days, 4 days, when you don't even need that itself, you will feel like, please give me better network circle, better friends, because nobody helps me on time, and you'll just feel hollow inside. So that's what the Pranapatha's position is. And in a way, from my analysis, I would say that Pranapatha usually also shows us a person's love in their career, like what is it that they actually like to do or may be doing, which could be through prana, because you're always going to go towards something that will always give you prana automatically, So then this last question is from Lavi Lavender. Dharma, Karma, Adapati Yoga in Dustana house, especially the 8th house. Is it still considered good? Well, first of all, there is no Dharma, Karma, Adapati Yoga forming. So I can't even say it's good or bad. Because Dharma, Karma, Adapati Yoga will only be formed when 9th Lord and 10th Lord are conjunct either in the 9th or the 10th house. So that's the first thing. Second, if they're in the 8th house, yes, it is causing a Raj Yoga. It is still a Raj Yoga, but it's in the 8th house, which shows that one's success in life will come through death of something. Whether somebody in the family passes away and suddenly they leave you a huge wealth, your status rises. Perhaps somebody who was in a very powerful position passes away, and because of that now you're elevated in the company, or somebody just leaves the company, okay, and then that spot is empty because that person, for that corporation, that person is dead now, and now you come about. So it'll be like through some major transformation, one's gains will come. Through secret interactions, one's gain will come. Okay, so that's how it is. So guys, this was my Q&A for this week. And remember, next week I'll take questions here, but I want to do it on Odyssey because now they have an app out on App Store. So you guys can download and subscribe because that is the next place. Okay. And if you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you miss these type of videos. And if you want to join my course, all the other details, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.